80% of our fruits and vegetables is all coming from street vendors. They are the link between farmers, the small and medium scale industries, the cottage industry. The farmer actually, which is the in the informal economy, the second biggest group is street vendors. The first biggest group is farmers. But farmers are completely dependent on this street. I mean, not completely dependent. What I mean is farmers' distribution system is this. And isn't it great that you get lakhs of products like the machhar wala marne wala bat, right? The mosquito killing bat se lekar your balloons, your toys, and your 80% of your vegetables and fruits. We don't really had buy from big shops. And there is a reason because they're at your doorstep. They come to your house. They're the nearest everywhere. So it's such a great decentralized distribution system. And so that is our question. Our vision is what would be the development. Just click one more time. And what is real development? As I said, do we want loss making 1,000 crore retailer companies who are sort of giving us service? It's not that their service is great and it's not flawed. We all know there was soap coming instead of mobile phones. We all know the service issues with these big companies also. So we could solve the service issues. If there are any service issues, quality issues with street vendors, we will solve them. But here's the thing. WHO did a survey in Kolkata in 2002. I'm forgetting the exact year. And they literally said the food is completely hygienic and it's so good. It is cheap. They said in 60 rupees you can get about 2,000 calories in Kolkata. A poor person can have 2,000 calories worth of food in 60 rupees, which is great. That's very hard to do in Western countries. So they were amazed by that. Similarly, in Gujarat, every food street vendor has a FSSAI license. And FSSAI can any day go to their vending and check. And they follow all the standards. You know what the vendors tell me? Said, Saab, agar my food was bad, the pani puri is always blamed, right? Pani puri for the disease. If my pani puri was bad, how would I have customers? Pani puri business is based on daily customers. If my pani puri is giving somebody diarrhea, is making people fall sick, they will not come to my place. A lot of this, one of the videos were every now and then it comes up. Look at these people, they are crushing potatoes for pani puri vendors, potatoes with their feet. But that's a technique, that's a hotelier technique which has been coming in catering since ages. That's a technique like in wine when you crush grapes with your feet. That is how they used to do it because it is such a big task to do those so many potatoes together. Their feet are clean, they just use that particular technique. So if that is an issue, I mean, it's a traditional technique, and yes, we can question whether they're hygienic or they're not hygienic, but we can it's very clear. They're like, how will we able to give bad food to our people? If they're falling sick, we cannot run a business. So that makes sense, to me at least, and you can check it out for yourself whether these street vendors are really hygienic or they are not hygienic, the food vendors. And even on cleanliness, the whole thing about cleanliness in street vendors is that they are not clean, but that's also not true. It's just that everything that is packaged is coming in these small packages or sachets, which we have actually, NHF has started working with Break Free from Plastics, which is an international organization, and we're working on the FMCG companies are making such a packaging which the people tend to throw, you and me both. It's not a vendor's issue. It's a overall issue of production of such sachets which are completely unsustainable, which we have to just burn later on, which has no other use. They're single-use sachets, and then we are blaming the street vendors for littering. But it's not really something that they can control. And the traffic issue is that there's a Arjun Sen Gupta, he's a judge. He's given a judgment in 2010. That too I can share, in which this issue was brought up that does traffic and street vendors have a thing? Uh, uh, oh, wonderful. Wow, we have somebody from FSSAI. We would love to hear you out. Uh, traffic and street vendors is that traffic is happening. This is the official judgment after analysis. Traffic is happening because the roads were planned for X amount of vehicles, and due to the boom of the auto industry, now we have so much more vehicles than we had ever expected, and that is why we have traffic and we cannot manage it. It is not because of street vendors, it is not because of other issues. They are purely town vending, urban town planning failures. This is what the judgment says, which has never been challenged, which has always been accepted. It's widely accepted in architecture community as well, that the traffic issue is a issue of number of vehicles versus space. And street vendors actually have nothing to do, but because they are on the roadside, they're blamed for parking, for etc., for other people's behavior, or for even accidents. Just imagine your banana seller, your fruit vendor, your juice guy standing on the side of the road. Somebody crashes their car, but the vendor is blamed for it. This is a real thing that has happened to us. We handle those cases on a daily basis. Every time there's an accident, the first thing that comes from urban local bodies that street vendors hata do, remove them, evict them. So this is the kind of force that we're trying to find. I hope that from whatever small presentation I've given, you can see the potential of street vendors, and plus they actually are a paying force. They pay all the GST taxes. Okay, and GST collection last year, 60% of the GST collection total last year was done by the poor 50% of our country. 64% of total GST was given by the poorest. Rest of the top 10% paid less than 1% of GST. Indirect taxes, that's a whole taxation issue. We can take it up with accounting. Is mostly paid by Aam Janta, the middle and the lower classes and the poor classes. And we're paying that big tax, which is right now 18% on, if you have a bath, it's 18% because sabun, shampoo, everything 18%. If you brush your teeth, it's 18%. So that's a tax we are, everybody is paying, including street vendors. And then they are also paying a vending fee. And haftas and the illegal black money, put it aside, whatever they're paying to the police and the other municipality authorities. But officially, on an average, they pay 300 to 500 rupees, except West Bengal. Everywhere there's a very high rate. And very recently in Kolkata, we've succeeded with the government to reduce that to just 100 rupees or 150 rupees. But they are paying more than shopkeepers pay. In Bombay, where I live, there's the act that applies to shopkeepers, Bombay Shops and Establishment Act, and shopkeepers pay less than 2,000 rupees a year as maintenance, while street vendors pay at least 500 rupees a month. And that, let me give you an example of Baroda. My city accepts 11,000 street vendors, so there are more. If 11,000 people are paying you an average 500, which is the rate here, it is more also in some places, but average is 500, which they accept, municipality accepts. It is 6 crore rupees every year. 6 crore rupees in municipalities' revenue street vendors are giving. That's the reality today. So that's just one small town like mine, right? So in a city like Bombay, Bangalore, it's insane the amount of money that they are actually giving to the city. But the city does nothing in return, no services. So we're trying to implement the Street Vendors Act. There's a lot of good things in the Street Vendors Act, which I'll take up in the questions. I'll end my talk here and we'll just open up. I said too much, sorry for that. But there's a lot of dynamics still we have to explore, which cannot be done in one lecture, but we'll try to cover whatever your curiosities are. So thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for showing up on your Saturday. You're great people who are coming to learn something, spending your time on a Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jay. That was really good. I'm really excited for the Q&A. There's already a lot of questions in the chat. I'd like to now invite Shrivani, ma'am, the founder of Wishwa, to
Yes, yes. Hello,
take
ma'am.
forward the Q&A session. Hello, ma'am.
Namaste to everyone. I would now request the audience to take a 30 seconds to answer a poll for us. The purpose of the poll is to help us understand you a little better so we can better curate the topics that we bring to you. You can also let us know in the chat box how you found out about WishwaTalks. If you are a WishwaTalk subscriber, heard about it through friends and family, or found out about the event on social media. Now, I would first like to express my gratitude to everyone who has joined us today with their presence, and I hope it will be a good interactive session. I extend my gratitude to our respected speaker, Mr. Jay Vyas, for taking time to participate in this webinar. I'm actually very surprised with this topic, because prior to listening to you, as you said, my opinion was they're unclean, that they encroach on the roads. So a lot of misunderstandings. You have changed the perspective. You have changed my perspective. And
that is great, ma'am, because you're changing very fast. Just one talk is changing your mind. We just want to open a conversation, but thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, and your talk has made me present to the importance of street vendors, why we need them in India, why we need to stop supporting these, why we need to support street vendors who are actually catering to 60% of our people. 60% of our people cannot afford the Amazons and the malls.
That's true.
I did not know about this until I'm listening about it from you. And there are a whole lot of questions that I am coming up with, but first I'll ask someone to unmute and ask the question. Mr. Sumit Ghosh, please.
Thank you, madam. Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Jay. I mean, you have really addressed a particular topic which is very close to my heart. And I'm just a founder of a very young not-for-profit organization. After spending 34 years into the so-called, your words, let me just recode, that so-called organized MNC sector. But what is actually the society that I am really realizing post-COVID. So just coming short to that, because recently I have come across with one of the fantastic quotes, and that particular question is there into this particular survey also, that what actually we need to support this particular segment. Because ultimately 90% of our world economy has been contributed by so-called unorganized sector.
Yeah, so-called. Yes.
So-called unorganized sector, because we all talk about the organized sector, organized way of doing, but so-called unorganized sector are much more organized. Now, just coming, what initiative we have recently taken, we have recently been tied up with one of the organization based in USA. They are doing fantastic by providing the education, the business courses to this particular unorganized sector. And their course name is MBS, Master of Business in the Street. So, they are doing fantastic into African countries. And not only that, they are, fortunately, I could have an access to their directors, and recently my organization has sent a proposal, and just last week I got the green signal. But as you know, the US companies, they are very process driven, so they want to train us first. They want us to graduate into that model, and then only they will be allowed us to take it forward. So I have even dropped the message to you personally. Yeah, it will be
Okay.
fantastic if I can have your email ID. What we have
We
taken
will
as a
share.
mission, yes, because we are about to get the UNO accreditation also, because we are working on different goals, which is mentioned in SDG 17. So we have taken a mission of graduating this unorganized, especially the street vendors, unorganized micro entrepreneurs, 1 million graduates in next 12 months. That is particular objectives we have taken. So they will be providing all the course material, certification, everything they are going to take care. And we, as their Indian implementing counterpart, we will be creating the different ambassador. Ambassadors is nothing but who are the coaches who will be helping others to graduate into this, because this is something where particular caution is there, that they will be able to compete with the organized sector A. B, sometimes the particular problem you also know very well, that they are not knowledgeable enough to fight with the administration. So
That's true.
these are so typically they will be equivalent to an MBA grad. So that's why this uniqueness. So I want your email ID. So
Sure,
we
sir.
can
We'll share that.
Thank you.
I'll share
And
the
once
email
again,
ID
you are
in the
doing a commendable job on a right topic. In VUCA world, we need that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
our next question is from Miss Prabha Kumate. I am a food tech retired, interested in knowing how to help food safety reach vendors. Secondly, how to promote traditional food in street vendor areas.
Okay. Like you're asking me how to promote it? Can you say that again?
Ma'am, would you like to come online?
Yeah.
I'm a food tech retired, interested in knowing how to help food safety reach vendors. So is there a regulation on, you said there was a food regulation,
FSSAI helps,
yes.
FSSAI, if they're maintaining everybody's food safety, so we don't need to go to any other organization. Well, maybe, ma'am, as a suggestion, as you asked, maybe depends on how people respond in your local realities. So that really is very different everywhere. But if FSSI is open to it, you can start doing trainings with them with street vendors.
Is FSSA across the country or just in Gujarat?
Across the country. That's a national organization for all kinds of food. All food is coming through FSSAI's credit. Like they are the people who keep the food safe, whether it's packaged food or street vendor. It's
active equally across the country?
Yes.
Okay. How to promote traditional food in the street vendor area? See, the question that which I also had is, a lot of migration is happening from rural areas into urban areas. Most of these people do not get their food ingredients that are needed for a healthy meal. And we see a lot of deep fried foods on the street. So is there a way to promote traditional and nutritious food in the street vendor area?
Yes, actually, see, it sort of comes naturally, but if you want to also promote it, that would be great. How to promote is 2-3 things. One is you'll have to take up marketing activities on behalf of street vending, and you'll have to work on people wanting particular things. I'll give you a very great example of this. There's something called Nero. Nero is this something, a plant-based thing, which if you get it early in the morning from that tree, and it is very good. It's a high electrolyte drink, but you have to drink it in the morning. If you keep it till afternoon, it becomes alcohol, it ferments. So Nero in my area is coming, this street vendor near my garden area comes every morning, because the walking people are the healthy awareness people, and he started a Nero thing, and it's been going on for 11 years. And we are getting Nero right here. So nobody had heard of Nero. भूल गए थे
It's
लोग.
called
People had
Neera.
forgotten. हाँ, नीरा.
Hello.
there. हमारे वहाँ
It's
गुजराती
called
में नीरो.
Neera and it is tapped from the palm
Yeah.
tree.
Palm tree, yes, correct. So that came, so such a traditional thing. Now it's easily accessible every morning, especially in the winters. It's like high selling item. Then similarly, breakfast, healthy breakfast for hostel going bachelor people, which I have personally experienced, right? Is
Vada pav.
unavailable. As ma'am said, it's deep fried. It's fried thing. Then you have to identify the areas. Okay, where are these people who want a healthy breakfast? Then we have parathas. There we have idlis and sambars and all of these available there. So we can then have vendors come up there doing these things at the area where we have recognized where there is demand. So it's some kind of market research wherever there is void and we feel okay, we need to fill this space. And the third one is you can help them by microfinancing. Now government scheme exists from COVID time. PM Swanidhi scheme exists. But the problem there is that a vending cannot start from PM Swanidhi scheme. A existing vendor can get PM Swanidhi. So then in that case, you'll have to do the micro credit or micro thing from the government or somebody who gives them formal sort of credit to start their vending. That we can do.
Okay, since we are running out on time,